let's go to the NFL and the Cleveland Browns, who had a nice year last year, get to the playoffs, upset the Steelers, who at one time I think were first or second in Parker's power rankings. I know you ripped them a lot.
No, that was one fluke. That was one fluke week. That was it. And
you don't want us to remember that.
No, there was one fluke week when they were 6-0, but when they won a couple other games.
Were they actually
number one? Yes, they were. But I can't remember. I think the Packers and Tampa might have lost, or Kansas City. You know what I mean? Like, It was one of those weeks where it was hard for me not to. They were undefeated, and I think either the Packers or the Bucks or Kansas City all lost or something like that, where it was hard for me to not think
Just
that
admit you thought they were legit.
No, I didn't. I had a problem with them, and you know that, for a long time. But anyway.
Yes. But, yeah, so they signed Jadeveon Clowney, Rob, today. Put him on the actually, I was going to say put him on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. But, Clowney can move all over that defensive line. So he'll be everywhere. Gives them some versatility. They can play different schemes with him. I think it's a good move. I mean, he was hurt, last year with the knee injury. Played about half the season. No sacks in 8 games, but I think the knee was probably bothering him most of the season. So he's healthy now. And, Rob, I don't know what you're expecting from them, but there is a drumbeat beginning in the NFL circles, NFL media and fans saying, okay, you got OBJ, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Nick Chubb, your running game is nice, Kareem Hunt, you got tight ends, your defense now is, in addition to Myles Garrett, you got Jadeveon Clowney, the defense isn't bad. We know you have a good coach, Kevin Stefanski. If you don't have a very good year, it's because of Baker Mayfield. I'm not necessarily saying this is my view, but this is what's out there, Rob. It's Baker Mayfield's fault.
I think that's a fraudulent take. No, I'm not with that at all. It just depends on what happens. Baker Mayfield last year answered a lot of questions. They won. What did they win? 10, 11 games.
I think, 10.
They won a playoff game. There were a couple of situations.
And played Kansas City tough, Rob.
Yep, and they did. And he played fine. If I'm Baker Mayfield, you should feel like going into it to just go out and play. You have the pieces. You had some real success. Finally, you beat your arch rival. You beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of good to feel about what happened last year. Obviously, they would have liked to have advanced, but they didn't. They took a step. And if you do have that, but I don't know why it should only be on Baker. If the defense is not good, what if some receivers wind up getting hurt or defensive players get hurt? I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. That it's not just Baker. I don't think Baker is the top 10 quarterback in the league or anything like that, but I think he took a nice step last year. I really do. And I can't remember who they played. They had a road game where he threw 4 touchdowns. Remember, he had a big game.
Yeah.
And he played well.
Did he have 5?
4 or 5, Chris. You might be right.
Yeah,
maybe it was 5. But do you remember that game? It was on the road. It was like to me, that's a signature game. Yes. That's what I look at.
I think
and
it was Tennessee. Yeah. I think it was Tennessee.
That's a game that you look at and go, I was impressed by that, And I think sometimes we get focused in on the quarterback only and think it's only him. I don't know if the defense gives up something. If somebody gets hurt on the offensive line, is that his fault? If OBJ can't play again next year, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things. I don't think Baker should feel any kind of way about this season other than I just had my best season in the NFL. My team won a playoff game. And all I need to do is progress and get better and just play better. I don't need to play, make it work, think I have to play 10 times better than I played.
Right.
I just need to play. And I think if he goes with that attitude, and you got runners, you got other things, Chris, it's not only about him. So that's why he shouldn't worry.
Yeah, I would agree with you that obviously it's not only about him. I mean, to your point, whether it would be injuries or what have you, there are a number of things that could happen to lose a playoff game or ruin the season that could have nothing to do with him. But he's not a made man. You know what I mean? He had a nice year last year. He definitely, took a step forward. But he is far from a made man. I think both on the field, in terms of we like him. He looks like he can be our guy, but there's still a little bit of doubt. And also, Rob, from a financial standpoint, they haven't paid him and looks like are not going to pay him that extension this summer. So that also is there. So I agree. Look, if I'm Baker, you don't have to go in there feeling pressure. We're not, don't worry about, I got to prove myself. I got to earn this contract. We got everything else. I've got to lead us now. If we don't win, it's all on me. Definitely shouldn't be thinking that way. But there is outside pressure. And on all the good teams, there's pressure. We've talked about Lamar Jackson and, there's pressure there. Even though he's won now a playoff game, there's still all the elite quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes. What if Pat Mahomes doesn't get to the Super Bowl? People are thinking this is going to be a dynasty. I've been thinking that. And he doesn't get to a Super Bowl. Now there's pressure on him. So there's pressure on. That's good. Yeah, because that means you're relevant and people think you are a contender.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I think that's just natural in what you're talking about. If you're playing and you're on a team that's gone to the playoffs or won a playoff game or whatever, that's just natural. But I don't think it's like, oh my God, now I can't mess up because I got everything.
No. I mean,
you can't go into it like that.
Yeah, he can't be feeling that way, of course. But he does have stuff still to prove. He still does.
He hasn't won a Super Bowl, so of course he has stuff to prove.
Well, I mean, there's guys that haven't won a Super Bowl. You got to win. You want to win one, but
ultimately, I don't think no one's going to give you a pass until you could at least do that. I'm talking about. If you win a Super Bowl, you win an MVP or something, people are going to be like, this guy's a good player. Okay, it might not have worked out or something didn't happen, but you would acknowledge he's a good player.
Deshaun Watson, I think, and obviously it's all types of stuff going on. We don't know what his career is going to end up looking like, but I would say he's been like a made man, where it's like there's no doubt he's legit. He's a top-notch quarterback. And he obviously doesn't have a Super Bowl. And so that's what I mean. Like, yes, he needs to get one. Yes, he wants to get one as time goes on. And if he doesn't get one, then it's going to be more and more doubters and pressure then. But there's no question that he's an elite level quarterback. That's kind of what I mean. Baker's not there. And I also think, Rob, there's going to be questions. We talked about it last year. I thought he'd be better without OBJ. Not because of anything that any fault of OBJ's, but OBJ is a celebrity. He was a superstar who's still young. I mean, he certainly hasn't been a superstar the last few years, but he's still young enough where he can recapture that. And that just powerful, strong personality, I think a young quarterback can feel like, I got to get it to my man. And they were friends and, all that. I got to get him to rock. And I think he was looking for him a little more. And when he got hurt, I think he just went to the open man and played looser. And so how's that going to be affected? Because OBJ will be back this year. So I think there are still things to watch with Baker.
I don't know if there's any.
His numbers were much better without OBJ.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was based on anything about having to get the ball to OBJ. If you're a quarterback and you have that kind of talent, you should be looking to throw to a guy who has that kind of talent. I don't think that's any added. I don't think he was able to utilize OBJ nearly as much as he probably should have. But I don't look at it like he was better because OBJ wasn't there.
But his numbers say he was.
But I don't know if that's
better.
but that might have been him just progressing and maturing more so than
this
didn't
is
have
not
anything.
A science, but I just feel like the human emotions and I'm
just saying I don't have any proof of that. I mean, that's your theory. I get it. That's your opinion. But I just don't see it like Like you should be able to. Tom Brady did better with Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to be a good quarterback and you get a guy of that talent, that shouldn't be a hindrance to you. You should be able to blossom with a guy of that talent.
Well, we'll see if he blossoms this year, and that's what I'm saying. I want to see. So Cleveland's going to be one of the most interesting teams in the league, and they've strengthened themselves with Jadeveon.